Earth curve or physical geometry in any shape or form. You know, it's still ether, and how it crosses paths with flat Earth in this instance, because their ether belief has led them to be under the misapprehension that they have some communication to sever with us. What's that, excommunication?
What the hell?
What's happened? Respond.
He's been reborn
Which is
as the new Pope of Ether.
Whitsit and some guy had a debate against two ballers, and it was so bad. Supposedly, Flatside they started covering it last night and attacking it. And Whitsit came into his live chat, and Flatside said, "Come in." And eventually, Whitsit did come in, and him and Flatside went at it. Whitsit just behaved ridiculous. He claimed we were all pseudoscience. Him and the people he hang in with were going to excommunicate us from the flat earth. He mostly just said, "Flatside, you don't understand."
Who the fuck is he?
Oh, hold on. Why the outrage?
He's going to excommunicate us from all flat earth. Like he's the king or the emperor of flat earth. Just like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, if you're going to talk about the earth, you got to go through me. That's what it
He's the
sounds
new
like.
Pope. I told you, he's the new Pope. He's just been crowned.
If these people want to self-appoint themselves as the Pope of Flat Earth, then feel free. I don't care. And what's he saying? He's going to excommunicate. Did he specifically say us? Who was he referring to, or was he just talking to?
He was bringing up. He brought up you several times, Nathan, and QE once or twice as well.
Let's break down the terminology. Excommunicate. What does that mean exactly? They won't communicate
Not
with me
talk
anymore.
to.
Right.
Not
Okay.
talk to.
Okay. Oh, no worries. They don't anyway, do they? Sorry, do I have some sort of personal line with Whitsit? Is he my manager? Does he pay me? No, none of the above. Oh, right. You're going to not talk to me when you don't talk to me? I don't care. Do whatever you like, Whitsit. But you are obviously concerned about your communication with me, aren't you? And talking about whether or not I'll be granted your permission to have communication. Yeah, I don't have it and I don't care about it. But you do. And you're talking about whether or not you're going to relinquish your connection to me. Psychologically, you're concerned about me, not the other way around. Obviously. Me, I don't care. Do what you like, Whitsit. What's that, excommunication? Oh, no! Oh, no! Paula, help! No, I couldn't give two fucks.
No, Nathan. Nathan, it's worse.
Oh, my wife
than
came
that.
running in. My wife's actually just sprinted in, going, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" No, nothing's on fire, and it's okay.
Tell us,
Nathan.
Nathan, the awful
Nathan.
truth of what's happened.
And I won't come and help.
I'm not having a heart attack.
So-
I wouldn't be screaming "help me" if I was having a heart attack. I'd probably be whimpering it.
Gosh.
It's worse
So-
than that,
so
Paula.
basically-
He's been excommunicated.
Yeah, it's worse than that, because what Whitsit is saying, if he said those things that exact way, is that he and his crew represent the official throne of flat Earth. And we are excommunicated from that throne. And like we ever agreed with them.
He's referring to us being excommunicated. My point is, number one, okay, fine, but we aren't actually concerned with Whitsit. We are now discussing an aspect of the debate had between him and Flatsoids. That's what we do here. But we aren't concerned proactively with what Whitsit is doing, or whether or not we'll be communicating with him. You know, things like that aren't of primary concern to us. But my point, and I tried to get it in earlier, was that it is of primary concern to him. In other words, how we'll be represented by them, who are deeply concerned with how we should be represented by them. All right, just stop representing me, Whitsit. Yeah? Now, because your representation up until now does nothing but have detriment towards me when you claim I'm a pseudoscientist or whatever it is you're claiming that's presumably detrimental and negative towards me. Yeah? Just stop doing that. Yeah? You want to excommunicate me? Yeah, do that. But that would mean you have to stop talking about me, including slagging me off for whatever reason, because I wasn't on whatever his name, Flatsoid's show. But there I am, coming out of your mouth. Now, obviously, we're discussing you being on that show and Ether. It's on topic. And your name is obviously going to come up to it because you're being discussed in that subject matter. But what we aren't doing is saying, are we going to ridicule this group of people from here on in so that people don't subscribe to them? No, definitely not. We'll describe how nonsensical Ether is and pull apart its lack of scientific validity. That's what we do. Yeah? But we won't make it personal against some individual that we've decided to excommunicate because we're not assholes. But that's what you do because you're an asshole. Yeah? What you're actually saying is, we'll make it hard for you in this community unless you kowtow to whatever bullshit I want you to kowtow to. No, not threaten us with excommunication, because what that actually means is you'll start shit stirring about us, slagging us off. Yeah? If you can't keep my name out of your mouth, that's sad. I am living rent-free in your head because you're concerned about the level of communication between us. This isn't of concern to me, as I made perfectly clear when my wife came running in, when I overdramatically said, "Oh no." Yeah, I'm not concerned with how well you're doing. But you are. Yeah, presumably you, like YouTube, want to suppress us for whatever reason. Oh, it's because we disagree with stuff that hasn't got scientific validity and makes us look stupid in the mind's eye of the public, makes us look like conspiracy theorists and idiots with no evidence to back our fantasies that we spout to our audiences. That's on topic. Me criticising things that you guys do. Yeah? Not saying, oh, I'm going to make my community not want to subscribe to Witsit. No, I'll make my community understand there's no scientific validity for ether. There's a very distinct difference. My communication with you doesn't come into it. Our relationship with Globebusters doesn't come into it. Yeah? Just the validity of the claims that are being offered. That's it. But for you, it's more than that because it's about how many subscribers you've got, isn't it? It's not about the validity of ether. It's about whether or not we'll kowtow to what you tell us. You've got no idea what you talk about and we'll pull it apart every time you spout it. What I won't do is tell my audience, don't subscribe to Witsit, because I don't care what they do in that regard. If they want to subscribe to you because they want a bit of fantasy, good for them. Until you start slagging us off. Then that's a big problem. Yeah, pull us apart on our pseudoscience if you say we've got it. Show how it's pseudoscience. Like we show ether's got no scientific validity by simply asking for it.
Within the debate, he claimed to have the use of scientific method, or within the debate he had, that he basically claimed science within that debate. And then he turned around last night and accused us of being pseudoscientists or having been pseudoscience. You're definitely in his head, and QE is too, but you're definitely in his head. The first thing he started attacking Flatside on was how small his show was and how many subscribers or viewers, live viewers he has, this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? How is that an argument on anything, you know? Who cares if he has one subscriber or no viewers?
It's a appeal to consensus, and by that standard, Simon Dan's correct.
The pseudoscience thing is what bothers me, because I don't think anybody here has made a scientific claim. The only thing we do claim is the validity of the method. And we hold to that and the logic that gives you the method.
This originated with a debunking of the notion of the incoherent dielectric acceleration, giving you a downward bias by showing with scientific validity that you can represent a disequilibrium by changing the density of a medium. So the vector induced by changing the density of the medium is the natural phenomena being described if you want to make a claim that there's a bias in any direction. Well, the phenomena you observe debunks that straight off the bat, because the observed phenomena is that some things go up, some things remain neutral, some things go down. Well, you're trying to figure out the cause of that effect, and Anthony did. He offered up a valid hypothesis with a null, varied his independent variable, and validated the alternative. That's science. That's where they step in. Yeah. Because suddenly you've got an invalidation of the null. And they can't get their heads around it. So unfortunately for them, that's why they need to tar us with pseudoscience. Because, like has just been pointed out, which is correct, we don't necessarily use science to make up bullshit claims as a magic trick also employed by our opponents on the globe side, like Tyson, where they steal valor from science, claim they've got it, when they're describing incoherent dielectric acceleration. They'll go on all day about how they've got science with Michelson-Morley. Okay? If you're claiming science, you better back your science with science. Well, Anthony took it upon himself to do that and invalidate what they stated by proving the cause of the effect that they're describing and assuming with a single downward bias, which there isn't. So, unfortunately not, and yes, or at the same time you are correct, because we don't typically use it to make claims. We use it to debunk them, and that is also an example, but it's using a scientific experiment to debunk them in that instance. So, unfortunately, yeah, we have actually used a scientific experiment in that context, John.
But we don't have to.
No, you're
Now,
right.
like
We
you
didn't
said,
have
Anthony
to.
took it upon himself to do it, but it's not behooving upon us to prove their claims.
That's correct.
It's not
You are
behooving
no.
upon
That's no. Just kudos. Yeah, it's not like you're trying to wiggle out of it, but you have, which is to say that it's behooven is a great word. It's not upon us to do this. Anthony did not need to do that. Upon asking for the scientific validation of gravity, it is upon the person claiming it to present their evidence, and also for ether. You want to claim that there's any sort of science in any shape or form for ether, it's incumbent on you to produce it, not for us to disprove it. Yes, John.
Let's big picture this. So what's it? And Jaron and all the globe dumpsters get their friggin' pseudo intellectual guts ripped out over like a 4-week period 6 months ago. Then we don't hear from them, and now all of a sudden you got Shitsit coming out here, and what's he gonna do to
You
us?
can't level that at Whitsit's door. He's gone and watched Flatsoid, and then there he is being slagged off, and he's gone and defended himself. So he's reacting to Flatsoid poking the bear proactively.
Whitsit is still out there pushing the same nonsense that was shown that he couldn't prove by us.
And more power to him. He can do what the hell he likes. I don't care. Is my attitude towards that. Live and let live. Yeah, because I don't care. I'm not concerned with his communication and whether or not we should say no. He's not allowed to be associated with Flat Earth because he's still out on the circuit after we told him. No, proactively, if he wants to come here and make his claims, which he's done, then that's absolutely fine. We'll react to them and take them apart at face value. But if he then chooses, same as Rumpus, to continue, or Ruhif, to continue on the circuit, peddling his nonsense, well, you're going to endure the sleepless nights, not me. And I'm not your boss. I'm not Whitsit's boss. I can't excommunicate him because I'm not in charge of him. That works both ways, Dumbo.
The facts are that the claims that they were making, they were shown to not be able to prove them by us, without a doubt. They couldn't even define a lot of the terms they were using. So, but they didn't stop pushing it. So, if they didn't stop pushing it, and Flatside reacts to them not stopping pushing it, then I don't see how. It's like the only reason that the reaction happened is because of the type of stuff that's been pushed.
I know. Okay, let me try. And, there's always going to be a good Godfather example, isn't there? There's a point where the main Godfather, not the Al Pacino Godfather, the Marlon Brando Godfather, is around a table with all of his dons and his competitors, right? People of the families that oppose him, and there's a feud going on because his son's been killed, and he wants to bring an end to this feud. The problem is that they want to become drug dealers, and he doesn't want any part of it. And at the end, he says, "So long as your affairs don't conflict with mine," right? Now, I've said I am disappointed that we get tarred with the brush of stupidity and conspiracy theorist, and some of that blame can lay at the door of Whitsit in this example. And I'm not going to deny that. However, so long as he's not proactively in our face telling us this stuff, like Bigfoot followers aren't in our face, or ghost believers aren't in our face telling us that Flat Earth's wrong because ghosts exist, right? Then live and let live. Let him do what he can do, whatever he likes. I can't object to that. Now, we'll discuss it when he goes on Flatsoid's show. We'll react to it and respond to it and pull it apart in the same way we always would, because it's a topic to be discussed, and that's what we do here. But as for proactively going after him, because, as you put it, he's out on the circuit still punting this stuff, so what? More power to him. I don't care. Because it's not a concern. It's not beyond, like I say, the fact that we're considered idiots, and that doesn't help. But beyond that, more power to you, Whitsit. Do what you like. You want to keep telling people ether's true, creating that fantasy forum. We've shown you how you're wrong. Take it or leave it. That's it, as far as I'm concerned.
Nathan, are you aware that Paul has posted that video in Master D for you to review instead of just talking about? Because I haven't heard it. You haven't heard it. We're just going by what's said.
I don't want to.
It's in Master D.
We've got the general gist, haven't we? Do we need to hear it? I said the same in the pre-show.
Well, you want to be hearing Whitsit say things directly if you're going to say things about what he said that we haven't heard.
I really don't. I think Brian's paraphrasing of what he said and the sentiment is enough. And when you get into actually doing responses on this stuff, as much as we're handbags at dawn in the after show, that's fine because it's on topic, admittedly politically on topic, rather than subject matter specific to Earth curve or physical geometry in any shape or form. You know, it's still ether, and how it crosses paths with flat Earth in this instance, because their ether belief has led them to be under the misapprehension that they have some communication to sever with us. Well, they don't, but, you know, I'm not going to impose any sort of connection to have severance on my part by saying, oh, are you still out on the circuit doing that? I'm going to put stop to that. Now, that's their attitude that I'm saying is unreasonable.
Now, the reason they want to use the word excommunicate is because they feel they run the flat earth quote unquote community. They're in charge. This is the ego to a level I've not seen publicly stated or observed by anyone who says, I'm going to excommunicate you from this topic. It's
I'm
like,
sorry, have you not
first,
encountered Eric Dubay? Is he not someone you've come across?
I've seen his videos.
Right, generally speaking, Eric thinks he's the king of flat Earth.
But I've never heard Eric Dubay
Eric
say, I'm going to
Eric
excommunicate
doesn't
you.
attack.
Sorry,
Eric doesn't attack
sorry,
anybody.
I've just got to stop choking. Okay,
Sorry.
right. He uses his IFAs forum for that. So he entices you into the IFAs forum so that you can be excommunicated from it. I mean, I've never joined, but I've heard all the stories.
I don't know anything
I never
about that. Whatever. If he
Me
wants
neither.
to be another one that does it, let him do it. But the point is, who owns the flat earth community? What the heck does this guy think he
It's
is?
a reification fallacy. Flat Earth is a description of an aspect of the world that we're standing on. Community? What? The community of the ground that we're standing on. When people say flat Earth community, like for me to go out into the world and say that I'm a flat earther is only a recognition that I understand the nature of the ground that we're standing on. And it doesn't automatically mean I'm part of a community. Now, to make it a community would be to mean that you've got some aspect of control over the community you have created. But that's all you've done, created a community so you can exercise your control over it. Well, in the case of the controlled opposition, we all spend all day, every day, talking about how that's the purpose of what they're doing with things like the Flat Earth Society. If you're going to have an opposition, you might as well control it and lead it. Yeah? Pretty basic stuff. Now, when that dilutes down to just somebody that recognises that you can have a community to lead, and you're under the misapprehension that your aspect of reality, that's flat Earth, is somehow a community because lots of people have recognised that aspect of the Earth, then you are mistaken. You've reified an aspect of the Earth into a community. No, just the recognition of aspects of Earth doesn't put you into any community automatically. But if you can create a, I don't know, IFA's website or a Flat Earth Society and get people to be card-carrying members of it, you can lay down the rules that would say that you're not allowed to partake in the dissemination of the information, for example. I mean, answer me this. What power, beyond his enormous swell of YouTube subscribers, I mean, notwithstanding the absolutely astronomical numbers that they have over on this side of the fence that we're discussing, what power do they wield over us precisely, pray tell?
Look, it's no different than two family members on the opposite side of the political spectrum. So one's a Democrat, one's a Republican. Let me just use those two. Can one of them say, you're no longer part of my family because of that? Can one of them say, you're no longer a human being because you're on that side? It's so stupid.
It goes back to schisms, sects, and factions. It don't matter whether it is vegans versus herbivores, herbivores versus carnivores, flat earth versus globers, red versus blue, Crips versus Bloods, Republicans versus Democrats. Now we got a flat earth community of anything's possible versus the scientific methodology dependent, realistic, let's stick to the facts, stop speculating and being conceptual. Let's talk about some tangible evidence, flat earth. So we're the outcasts because once again, when it comes down to truth, what is always outcast? The truth, because it makes people uncomfortable, it hurts sometimes, and it takes away from people's fantastical, abstract desires to be able to do things and be things that they know damn well they're incapable of being. And when you shit on that, you become their enemy.
Yeah, the things that you want to be are gods flying around in space. People who have a misapprehension of the sky vacuum and the men that they say are in it want to be those men. They want to fly in space. It's pathetic. You all want to be Superman, and that's all they're playing on. It's sad. But with that, I'll say another massive, enormous thank you to Matrix, Discord, and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hitting the PayPal link, and all that good stuff. I'm not Whitsit's boss. I can't excommunicate him because I'm not in charge of him. That works both ways, Dumbo.